Today's lesson is primarily vocabulary. Some of the other lessons in this chapter are not going to be quite so straightforward, and it's going to take us a little bit of work together, so enjoy this video because we're going to have a lot of face-to-face. Alright, so this is circles, segments, and congruency, and you already know what a circle is. It's the round shape where everything is the same distance from the middle. In geometry, we use the set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a given point, and we call that given point the center. So in this circle, we have a center of P, and we would call this circle P because we name it by its center. You know, wherever we use a triangle, we've got to use the angles, but with the circle, it's just the center. So we're going to talk about some vocabulary here. The radius is the distance from the center to the circle. So in this particular circle, segment PR is a radius, but so is segment PQ. They are both radiuses. Since they are both from the center to the circle, they have to be the same length. So if PQ is 5, how long is PR? You're right. They are congruent. All right, letter X is a point that is inside the circle. We call that interior, and Y is outside, so that's exterior. We'll need that information for some of our later lessons. All right, so here's our handy-dandy little circle. I don't have any lines drawn in it, but if I were to draw one, like connecting 2 points on the outside wall, but they don't go through the center. Do you know what that's called? It's a chord. A chord is a segment with both endpoints on the circle, but it does not have to go through the middle. Now, there's a special chord that goes through the middle of a circle. Do you remember what it's called? It's called a diameter. So a diameter is a chord that goes through the center, and a chord is a segment that just has both endpoints on the circle. Now, if my radius were 5, how long would my diameter be? You're right, because if this is 5, then this is 5, and 5 plus 5 is 10. Great. All right, we're almost done with our vocabulary. There's one more crazy word. It's called a secant. Here's what that word looks like. Secant. And a secant is a line or a segment or a ray that contains a chord. So AB is a chord, but it is not a secant. If it were part of a line that extended through the circle, then line AB would be a secant because line AB contains the chord AB. You could also say that ray AB is a secant because ray AB starts at A, goes through B, contains the chord. All right, just like we have congruent shapes where their sizes are exactly the same, we have congruent circles. In order for two circles to be congruent, they have to have the same radius. And then there's one other definition you need to know, and that is a concentric circle. Concentric circles are circles that share the same center. So think of like a bullseye. They would be concentric. Are concentric circles congruent? No, they're not, because they don't have the same radius measure. All right. Now, I want you to read the two definitions for inscribed and circumscribed on page 353. And here's your lesson. And I'm going to give you a wide shot of your notes. You can find all those definitions in your book.